Hey guys, well, in this second video, I want to tell you a little bit uh, about two main functions that you will be setting and using for your Zoom journey, and that's the interpretation tool and the Q&A tool, right? So first of all, the thing for interpretation is this amazing function that allows us to set up any person in this that is actually in the Zoom call as interpreters from one language to the other. So here we have this button. Let me end up from the beginning. You will have this button right here, and when you click it, it will display this cool window, and you can select any person. Let me delete the name of the people that is in the Zoom call. You will see the list of people that is in that particular Zoom call, and in these little boxes down here, you will select the source language, which most of the times is English, and in the second one, you will select the output language for the interpreter, let's say Chinese. So now in the list of names, generally we ask people to rename themselves like int slash, hyphen, um, I don't know, SPA for Spanish, CN for Chinese, PN for Vietnamese, RU for Russian, etc. Then basically you should find the people with this name. But if you don't find them, or they haven't renamed themselves, you can just select from the list or type their name. All right. Then you select and then you click on start. You can add as many interpreters as you want. You can even put more than one interpreter for the same language. That's something cool because you want to have a backup, right? In case the interpreter has any kind of tech issue, then the other one just jump right in to take on the class so the audience doesn't miss anything. But anyway, I'm going to set this guy up, and then you will see, well, first of all, you will see in the participants window how the little symbol of the language is going to show next to the microphone. Here is the Zhong in Zhongwen for Chinese, or if you change it to, I don't know, German. By the way, every time you do any kind of update on the interpretation, you have to make sure to click on update, all right? Not on end, because if you click on end, then all the interpreters will be out of the interpretation channels and you will be listening all the languages in your main call. So you have to make sure to click on update. Now you can see here how the German has the DE of Dutch in the, I guess, in the little icon here, right? Now, if you click on the interpreted language once icon, once you have set up interpreter, you will see which language you can listen to, or you will see this manage language interpretation to add more interpreters or do any kind of change that you want here. And you will be able to even mute the original audio to just listen the translation that you want to listen to. All right. Now, uh, let me try to do something. Let's change the IT stuff for Brian. This is something important that you need to know in order to provide tech support to your interpreters whenever they need them. You will see that as I am the interpreter, I have this little box down here. And in this little box, you will see these listening in and speaking to little boxes. The listening in will indicate what language will the interpreter be listening to. We have cases sometimes in which the speaker actually the interpreter does not know the language of the speaker, so they have to listen to the translation and then translate to a third language. So for example, I'm an interpreter that I only know Chinese and Spanish, but the speaker is listening to English. So I have an English Chinese, we already set up an English Chinese or English German interpreter. So let's do that right now. Let's add another interpreter, right? I teach English Chinese, for example. All right. And then I go from Chinese to German. Then I want to listen to the Chinese because that's the language that I understand. And then from Chinese, I translate into German. So in the listening in, if I click it, I will see all the different languages available. In this case, Chinese. I want to listen to the interpreter in Chinese. And then I will start to speak in German. So the German audience listens to the German because they don't speak either English nor Chinese. Now, in the old times, this is a great cool new function. In the old times, we used to ask the speakers, hey, you're gonna have to use two devices, one to listen to Chinese, one to listen to English, one to be set up as one to listen to Chinese and one to be set up as translator because you only can hear Chinese in that particular computer. It was a chaos basically, but this new cool function solved that problem to us. So that's the listening in function, and the speaking to basically tells us where the audience need to go in order to listen to me, the interpreter, sorry. So if I'm speaking into German and I want German audience to listen to me, I have to click here on German. If I want them to listen to me, the translation from German to Chinese, I have to click in Chinese and then they will see the Chinese language, all right? Now, that's important to know because we have to be the gatekeepers and the tech support for interpreters. So if they come up with a question, we have the answer ready for them. Now, you can see here on the icon, check on the icon next to Brian and next to the microphone, all right? Now, right now, it shows the Chinese symbol, character, sorry. But if I switch to the German language, it changes to Dutch. So that visually helps me, the host, to tell the audience or to tell people when they say, hey, I don't listen to, I cannot hear the translators for Dutch or for Chinese. Then I go check the translator and I can tell the translator, hey, translator, you're in the Dutch channel. You're not in the Chinese one. Please switch to the Chinese one. And then they will just switch. And now you can see the character here, right here, right on the top. The top character that he is now in the Chinese channel to check on if he's cool. All right. Now let me show you something else. I'm gonna take myself out of the interpretation channel, and if I'm the audience, I will be able to see all the different languages. All right. Let me switch this guy from English to whatever Japanese. So if I want to listen to the Chinese translation, I go to Chinese. If I want to go to the Japanese, I go to Japanese. And that's how I'm supposed to listen whatever interpretation I want. It's pretty straightforward. It's kind of stressful once you're there, but be patient to yourself, be patient to people because most of them are not tech savvy, right? So you will practicing patience beautifully into this. Now, that's about interpretation. Regarding Q&A, if we go to more and go to Q&A, we will see here all the different questions that people have asked. The open window means questions that have been asked that no one has answered. Answered questions will be the ones that we already answered. And we have two options. We have the option to answer live, depending on what we hear that the teacher is saying on the screen, or we can type the answer right here for the audience. But generally, we don't use the type one. We want the speaker, the teacher, to answer the question live. And then we can also dismiss questions in order to not be, in case they ask an unappropriate question. For example, in BCI or SCIM, we have these situations in which people ask inappropriate questions, like religious questions that are not allowed. And then we have to dismiss those questions because we don't want to affect anybody with the religion questions, all right? Woo! So that's Q&A, that's interpretation, and I want to show you a couple of more things. I'm not sure if I already show you the video settings, but generally we want to keep the HD, original ratio, etc., etc. We want to select the proper source. For the microphone, it will be the same. But let's jump into the settings. Well, before that, I want to show you something. If you click on participants, you will see, let me kick this guy out. And I want you to check in that computer, we don't have this guy anymore, right? He's not in Zoom. One thing that I found out to be very useful is that if you add people to Zoom as your contacts, ideally all the computers that you will manage in DCI and SCIM, I'm the one managing all the computers, 7 computers most of the times. And it's a pain to have to click the link in each one of, send the link to each one of them and click in each one of them, or enter the ID and then the password or whatever. It's really, really painful. So the solution for Zoom is you add people or the different computers and accounts as contacts, and then you select all of them to at the same time, and you click on invite. Right now, I'm gonna just select this one, which is that computer. And if you click invite, you will see that little window right there with the red and the blue button, red and blue. All right, the red one says decline call and the blue one says join. It's like kind of like a phone call. So what I have to do is just to click on join. And now I want you to see in the computer right here, we have it in the waiting room. If from the beginning I set this account as co-host, he automatically skip the waiting room and join and be set up as a co-host. All right, that's a very cool function that only works for business accounts. I don't know if work production has this kind of account, but that's an option that's right there. All right, now how to set as co-host this guy? Well, basically we just click on more and we click as co-host. And we select here for the confirmation, and that's it. You can see here that it says co-host. Let me take him out of the interpretation channel. Cool. And we can also set them as host. Before we can withdraw the co-host permissions to, in case we set someone co-host that we are not supposed to, that's the option, or we can set them as host. And if that was a mistake, I can withdraw the host to myself if I created the account, the call with this account. So what I have to do is to go to my name, more, and reclaim host. And now that I'm the host. Only if I created the Zoom call with this particular account, right? So that's kind of pretty much it. In more, you will see all these different options. We can ask people to unmute all of them, and that way we we will have people singing happy birthday. Geshe Michael likes to have people sing happy birthday sometimes in some events. So you can ask people to unmute and share together a laugh and share together a song. This is a very important function, mute people upon entry, because people come into the Zoom call and their microphone is open and we can hear everything and interrupt the class. So if we click enable this function with the little tick, then every time they join, the microphone will be automatically mute. Play, join, and leave sound is that little sound that sounds everyone comes in or out. I like to have that disabled to do not disturb people's mental peace. Show not join participants. This, if you click it, you will see this not join thing, but you don't want that. It only takes up space. Then log the meeting is in case you have your staff already in and you want to run some tests or chat of the plan of the day or whatever. That won't allow people to join to the call. So you can even unlock it and people can join again. You can enable or disable the Q&A section that we saw before. You can hide profile pictures in the list. If we click it, you can see it's only letters. That's really not useful at all, to be honest. Um, Allow participants to unmute themselves. We can disable this function, which is very useful in the middle of the class because people love to accidentally unmute themselves and we are listening to their words, interrupting the class, and we can just enable it anytime we need people to actually be able to do it. You gotta be careful with this one because if translators mute themselves and they are not co-hosts, they won't be able to unmute themselves, all right? So you gotta be careful with this function. You want people to rename themselves, and you can even lock the start video function, all right? Cool. So for the chat part, you can also have, if you click in these three dots, to lock people to not chat at all, to only chat with host and co-host, to chat in the group in the general chat, or the general one, which is just chat with everyone, but also privately between each other. Woo. Um, yeah, so that's pretty much it. In the next video, we will be seeing the general settings for the Zoom, which is a very cool list of things that we can do with Zoom. All right. See you next time, guys.